Thank you for joining us as we build our homestead from the roots up. Today, I want to show you how we got this massive pile of mulch absolutely free. I want to show you the two projects that we had in mind when we got this mulch, and I'm going to show you how we got it for free because it might be available in your area too. All right behind me here, we've got our only trees that are really close to the house. The other ones that were going to be close, they had to push down, move out of the way when they were building the pad. And so these are the ones that are kind of in the yard still. And this is where Christy wants to hang her hammock. So I'm going to take and clean out underneath. We're going to get some trash pulled out. We're gonna get some sticks and junk out of the way. There's some stuff I'm gonna have to cut and get it ready. We're gonna lay some fabric down and fill it with mulch, and then later I think she might put some potted plants or things in there to be more decorative, but instead of trying to plant things in the ground, I think that's going to be easier to take care of. And she actually just went to town to look and see what options they have to just put a little border around it, keep the mulch contained and give me something to mow around. So while she's gone, I'm going to start getting this cleaned up and we'll see how it goes. All right, I got some rocks and trash, T-post, sticks, some roots that I thought were sticks and some sticks that I thought were roots. Got it out of the way, got some paper down, and it doesn't look very pretty right now because I don't have anything to really hold it down. I didn't get tacks to pin it down, but I'm gonna go ahead and start dumping some mulch in the middle, and that'll at least hold it down this evening. About to lose my sunlight. And when we get the border, we'll put it up and then we'll finish filling in the mulch. So I'll see how much I can get on there to hold it down and hopefully finish tomorrow. All right, today we're going to start working on prepping our garden. We've got a few different areas that we talked about, kind of where we thought we would like it, and most of those are going to require more work than we really have time to put in this year. So I don't know if this is going to be a temporary spot or if we're going to decide that this is just where it's going to go. But for now, right here behind the house, just as soon as the hill drops down, pretty much where the chickens and rabbits are, this big area here, we're going to get marked out. I know what size it needs to be, and so we got to go figure out where the corners are going to start, get it squared up, and just mark off where it's going to be. We're going to use our mulch that we got to put down, and we'll go back in and start making rows and getting those parts ready later. Okay, what I did first was we stretched the tape down the side of the house just so that I can keep a straight line, and I just walked out about where I wanted the corner of the garden to start. And then we measured from the front edge of the house, or the facing edge. This is actually the back of the house, but the facing edge here, and measured out to see where I stopped, and it's right at 52 feet. So now I'm going to measure that direction because I know she wants 60 feet long, and then I'll measure back to the house there for the same 52 feet, and that'll keep me squared with the house. And that doesn't really matter, but just is going to help me square off and keep everything consistent. So that's what we're going to do now, is figure out where the next corner goes. All right, we have marked off the corners, measured off, got it as square as we could do, and I got the mower out and just dropped it as low as I could get it, just kind of shaved off the dead grass that was here. And then I grabbed the tractor, and I wasn't trying to till it or anything like that. All I was trying to do was use the teeth on the box blade to run through and just snag whatever junk might be under here. We've been finding all sorts of just trash, and I really thought this area here should be pretty clean, maybe some rocks, but I'm glad I did, because we got part of a railroad tie that I pulled up, some blocks, some pretty good sized rocks, and also we found this. It was I think there used to be a trailer sitting down here, a little trailer house. There's a couple more of these that we found. Looks like a dog print in the top of it, maybe. And since we weren't going to till, it might not have mattered if we ever went back and tilled. I would hate to hit this stuff and mess up my tiller or somebody else's if I borrowed one. So I just wanted to get it out, and now it's just kind of scratched up where the garden's going to go, but I'm going to start piling mulch on top of it. All right, I told you that I would let you know how I got all this mulch absolutely free, and so now let's talk about that for a minute. There are companies in the area, probably in your area, that are hired to come in and to do tree trimming, to maybe clear out the edges of roads, maybe do landscaping jobs for neighborhoods or companies. And they're going to have all this leftover wood that they've chipped in the back of their truck that most of the time they have to haul off to a dump just to get rid of. Sometimes they even have to pay a fee to be able to take it somewhere. And so I found a website that will let those people find people like me and you who could really use that mulch. Now, granted, it's not going to be the same quality if you go to a landscaping company and get a truckload of mulch, or if you go to your local store and buy it by the bags to put in your flower bed. Those are going to be cleaner, nicer, more consistent than what you get here. This is going to have a lot of sticks and things that didn't quite get chopped up, and you can see as you look through this video, you'll see the sticks and stems and things sticking out of it. But since that's not something that I was concerned about, I was more than happy to take advantage of this. And so the way to become a part of this is to sign up through this website called getchipdrop.com. You can also just search your search engine for Chip Drop and it should come up. They have a mobile app as well, it looks like, but I've never used that. And you're just going to click sign up for free and create an account. And what this website is going to do is it's just going to pair the gardeners, people like you and me who are looking for mulch to use, with the arborist that may be working in your area that would love a easy and or cheaper way to get rid of the mulch that they grind up, so that everybody wins. And you'll go through the website here and just fill out your name, address, phone number, email, basic information, and you'll have to they'll send you an email to verify that you have a legitimate email address. And so once you get past this first step, choose a password so that you can sign back in later. Then you'll wait for that email to arrive. And when it does, you'll just click a link. It will verify that that is a valid email address and that they can get back in touch with you. After you fill out this portion, on the next page, you're going to give your address. Now, the address has to be the location that the chip is going to be dropped off. So if you live in town, if you don't have a big yard, but maybe you have some land, you have access to some land somewhere else that you want this dumped at, that location is going to have an address that you can register so they can find it, because they don't guarantee that the person is going to call you, come find you and make arrangements. They say as you go through this process that you don't know when it's going to happen, and somebody might just show up and drop it, and they're only going to go to the address you have on file. And so you have to give the address that you are willing to take this delivery, the chip delivered to. And so make sure that's the address that you give. If you don't have an address for the location that you're wanting to have it delivered to, then that might be a difficulty. I would consider contacting their support and see if there's a way they can take a Google pin drop, a Google Maps pin drop or something like that. But you'll go through and you'll fill out your address information and let them know that you're not a robot, and create your account. So after you verify that, it's going to bring you into a new page. It'll welcome you. It'll let you know you don't have any requests. There are no drops in progress because you just got here. And so you're going to start a new request right here. And it's going to ask how you want to verify your phone number. This is a second verification. They need to know that you are really you, that they have a way to get a hold of you. Even though it says in the documentation that the delivery people might just show up and drop chip, they do want to be able to get a hold of you. And in our case, the guys called ahead of time. They said, we found you in Chip Drop. We want to make sure you still want a delivery. We've got 6, maybe 7 loads, and find out how much of that I wanted. And so I appreciated that. I wasn't sure how big a load was, and asked him if I could just meet him there with the first load here at my home, but I was at work when he called. And he said, yeah, that'll be great. And so I drove down, I met him. They dropped the first load. I looked at it and I kind of tried to visualize what 6 or 7 times that might have been, but I knew we needed a lot. And so I told him just keep them coming. And they did. He told me if at any point before they're finished it was too much, to just text him back and let him know to stop, and they would go on and get rid of that somewhere else. But I took it all, and I think they were glad that I did. I was glad that I did. So as you go through the process, after you verify your method of being contacted, then it's going to go and it's going to show you a map where your location is, so you can verify and make sure that when they type that address in or click that link, that it's going to go to the right location. And so take a look at that and make sure that that's the correct information for you, and then just click next and continue on through the process. The next screen is these are those warnings that I've been mentioning. They're warnings. You may not get a notice prior to delivery. The chips may contain leaves, pine needles. It depends completely on what the arborists are clearing out, what they're chipping up. If you want to cancel, you have to do it on the website before delivery is on its way. Again, they called me and asked me. I could have just told them over the phone, but that's because that particular arborist has done this before and was being polite. The chip drop website doesn't know who you're going to get, doesn't know how much time they're going to have, if there's even cell phone service in the area they're working. And so all they're really doing is letting you know that method of contact is not guaranteed. But I had a very good interaction with the guys that ended up bringing me my first load. If I didn't mention before, I will say that I had to wait an entire year. When we bought our land and I discovered this website, I thought, well, even though we're not there yet, they can start piling wood chips out there for me. I'll find something that I can do with them or give them away to other people that need them. And so I signed up a year ago, and every 2 or 3 months, I forget exactly, they'll send an email letting you know that your request has expired. That way they don't have a bunch of old requests sitting there clogging up their system, people changing their mind or forgetting that they ever even signed up. And so every time I got that email, I just clicked the link provided that said renew request. I thought, I don't have anything to lose. And so I kept doing that, and it just happened to work out perfectly after we got moved into our house, and it's starting to warm up outside, and we're starting to make plans for projects in the yard. That the timing ended up being incredible. They called and they came and they dropped that off, and I was able to start using it. But you go through this process, let them know you understand and agree that some of these things are not guaranteed, and that's fine. When you click next, it will ask if you're interested in just wood chips, if you're willing to take logs, because depending on the size of the job they're doing, there may be a lot of trees that they just cut into logs. And if you're looking for some firewood, then that would be a great way to get some of that delivered. I don't know what all size it would be. It's going to vary, but if you know you're not interested in that, you can click just wood chips and go on. Then they kind of a secondary reminder, there may be some sticks or a few, they're calling them logs, that were too big to go in the chipper. Is it okay if you have a little bit of that? And you can say no. You can be picky, but the more picky you are, the less likely somebody's going to take the time to call you up and deliver to you, because they're not going to take the time to go through, we've got chip, but we've got log in there. This guy doesn't want the logs. We're not going to go pull all those logs back out and clean this up so that he can have nice chip for free. They're not going to do that. You can't expect them to. They want an easy drop, and so the less picky you are, the better the chances that you're going to get called and be able to take advantage of this. So the next section, they want you to leave a detailed description of where you would like the chip to drop. You can even upload an image. And so I went on to Google Maps and I got an aerial view of the road leading up to my house, the driveway. I loaded it into an art program and I drew a big X over right where I wanted it to be dropped. I left a very detailed description, typed it in, how far down the road, which side of the road, so they get the right driveway. I don't want them dumping my chip into my neighbor's yard and then I have to go get it. So be detailed, let them know. It might even be a good idea if you're not going to be around, in case you don't get a phone call, to put a sign up. If you have a designated area in your yard, make a sign that says, please, leave chip here, and that will help them out a lot. But again, I got a phone call. They met me here, and in my circumstance, they were really easy and really good to work with. Another question they ask: are there species of wood or wood chips that you just absolutely cannot receive? I'm not sure what would be the cause of that. Maybe because of an allergy, or maybe in different areas because of a certain pest that's invading and you don't want to invite that into your yard or something. If there's something that you're not willing to take, again, be as picky as you need to be. Just understand, the more picky you are, probably the less of a chance they're going to choose you to deliver, unless it's just way cheaper for them to let you be picky and do a little more of the work. So I said, no, I'm not picky at all. Another thing you can do to increase your odds, if a lot of people in your area have already signed up for this and they're just not delivering to you, you can donate money. The arborists do pay to be part of this website. It's how the website functions. Because of that, we don't have to pay anything as recipients, as the gardeners were called. And so you can opt to donate $20. And if an arborist has to choose between two people, one person that's picky and they're not contributing, somebody else that's not picky, and they've offered to pay for that, and for $20 you could get a huge load of chip. I didn't offer to do that. I signed up for this so long ago. I just kind of wanted to see if it worked, how it worked. If we got something, I'd be able to use it. If it never showed up, I wouldn't be sad. So I didn't offer to pay that. But if you're in a bigger need, or again, if there's a lot of competition in the area, then that might be a good thing to do. So you just go through the process, you turn that in, and it'll sit there waiting for somebody to find it. In probably more populated areas, this is more well known, and there may be more opportunities there. In rural areas, the arborists that are working may or may not know about this website and be able to use this to find you. I will say this: if you see these guys working in the area, maybe the county is just out clearing the roads and things, I have in the past just pulled over, visited with those guys, offered them a glass of sweet tea, and asked them, before they turned around and drove all the way back to the yard where they had to dump, if they could come by and drop it off for me. And I have done that in the past as well, so that might be another option for you. But getchipdrop.com is incredibly easy. Again, it's not guaranteed, but if you're looking for some chip, and especially if you can be patient, then it's a great way to create an account, turn in a request, and just wait and see what happens. We got enough to do our complete garden and some left over for some projects around the house. So I'm super excited that I found out about this, was able to take advantage of it. If you know of other ways to get resources like this, wood chips, firewood, things like that, please leave it in the comments for other viewers to see, because I'm sure there's other options out there that I don't know about. All right, here we are. We've got it filled with mulch. If I had it to do all over again, this plastic stuff, it's a good, thick, sturdy, hard plastic that comes coiled up opposite of the direction that you lay it out. The little rib on the inside that you're supposed to stake it down with is on the outside of the roll. And so you can see when I unrolled it and tried to bend it back, I got some creases in it because it was not wanting to cooperate. Instructions said to let it set in the sun and it would soften. Even though this is a bright sunny day, it's also only about 45, maybe up to 50 degrees now. And that just wasn't gonna happen. So I grabbed my torch, which was better than nothing, to warm it up, soften it up a little bit. If I had it to do all over again, I'd use a heat gun and I just would start rolling it out flat on the ground, warming it up as I go. So that'd probably work better. But since I got the torch out anyway, I'm gonna use this to take care of the extra weed cloth that's poking out the edges, because this should besides starting a grass fire, this should just melt it real easy right at the edge. So I'm going to go around and get the edges of this, and then we will hang the hammock. Yeah, good.
Good.
Even?
Even.
You feel balanced?
Yes. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.